Approximately half of adult Americans' photographs are stored in facial recognition databases that can be accessed by the FBI without their knowledge or consent in the hunt for suspected criminals. Around 80% of photos in the FBI's network are non-criminal entries, including pictures from driver's licenses and passports. The algorithms used to identify matches are inaccurate about 15% of the time, and are more likely to misidentify black people than white people. These are just some of the damning facts presented at last week's House Oversight Committee hearing, where politicians and privacy campaigners criticized the FBI and called for stricter regulation of facial recognition technology at a time when it's creeping into law enforcement and business.
Do you have plans to match this database up with anything that's posted on social media? So in other words, if you go up on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and whatever the next new technology is, are you collecting that information that is out there on social media?
No, we are not. The only information the FBI has and have collected in our database are criminal mugshot photos. We do not have any other photos in our repository.
That's not true. You're not collecting driver's licenses?
We do not have driver's license photos in our repository at the FBI.
Does anybody care to weigh in on this?
The FBI has access to now 18 states' driver's license photos. It either can run those searches or request them. We're talking more than a third of all Americans. So the FBI does have access to these photos, has searched them tens of thousands of times, and apparently by GAO's testimony, never audited those searches for misuse.
I would also add that the FBI has civil photos in its repository, so it's not just relying on driver's license databases, but it also has access to civil photos in its own NGI IPS database. These photos may in the future come from background checks that people submit to as trying to get employment or as a licensing requirement, but the database is not limited to just mugshot photos.
The rise of real-time face recognition technology that allows surveillance and body cameras to scan the faces of people walking down the street was most concerning, according to Jason Chaffetz. The FBI first launched its advanced biometric database, Next Generation Identification, in 2010, augmenting the old fingerprint database with further capabilities including facial recognition. The Bureau did not inform the public about its newfound capabilities, nor did it publish a privacy impact assessment required by law for 5 years. Unlike with the collection of fingerprints and DNA, which is done following an arrest, photos of innocent civilians are being collected proactively. The FBI made arrangements with 18 different states to gain access to the databases of driver's license photos. Last year, the US Government Accountability Office analyzed the FBI's use of facial recognition technology and found it to be lacking in accountability, accuracy, and oversight, and made recommendations of how to address the problem. A key concern was how the FBI measured the accuracy of its system, particularly the fact that it does not test for false positives nor for racial bias. Inaccurate matching disproportionately affects people of color, according to studies. Not only are algorithms less accurate at identifying black faces, but African Americans are disproportionately subjected to police facial recognition. Even the companies that develop facial recognition technology believe it needs to be more tightly controlled. Brian Burkeen, CEO of Kairos, had said he was not comfortable with a lack of regulation. Kairos helps movie studios and ad agencies study the emotional response to their content and provides facial recognition in theme parks to allow people to find and buy photos of themselves. Burkeen said that the algorithms used in the commercial space are 5 years ahead of what the FBI is doing and are much more accurate. There has got to be privacy protections for the individual, he said. There should be strict rules about how private companies can work with the government, said Burkeen, particularly when companies like Kairos are gathering rich data sets of faces. Kairos refuses to work with the government over concerns about how his technology could be used for biometric surveillance.
It's not so much that which the government takes by virtue of Social Security or passports. It's what we have been giving over. And it's in this huge cauldron of data. Remember, there's going to be a 24/7 worldview panopticon of you. Everywhere you go, everything you do, everything about you is going to be in. And what we're seeing right now are the initial stages of this massive data collection pool, because up till now, the only thing that got in the government's way was having the resources and the ability to store this much data. That's not a problem now. You have not seen anything yet. Beware.